He wants to kill you. This is a massive, unregulated, confident, and highly problematic goblin supremacist. He will not debate you on it. He doesn't even see you as worthy of being alive. A focused killer. His body count must be in the hundreds. The type of man who wishes for nothing but the destruction of humanity, the Earth folk especially, and the downfall of this invading species upon the shores of Ascani. The more you stare into those deranged eyes of his, the more you understand. He's not full of hatred from some idealistic vision of the future. He does not view the future of Ascani as a goblin paradise. All he wants, entirely due to some personal vendetta fueled by sociopathy, is to erase humans from existence. The scent of smoke fills your helmet as you approach the hooded goblin. He takes a drag from the pipe, his rough face illuminated. He is glaring at you. "Greetings, citizen!" The hooded goblin does not reply at first. Then he just looks to Snail with a foul frown. "I see you're getting more cran by the day." Cran. The goblin who signed the Goblin Treaty. He served Earth for many years as a warrior of Norvik. Fuck you! As your foot is about to hit him in the shin, the goblin reveals a dagger from his cloak. Dagger. One-handed piercing weapon, good at making holes in the clerics. Faster than you could spot, he's got it pointed towards your boot. You managed to stop yourself just in time. How fast is this guy? He then slowly retracts his dagger, hiding it as smoothly as he's pulled it out. "I suggest bothering someone else, human." "You know this guy now?" "Sure, that's Raz." "Ignore him, he's not interesting." The hooded goblin lets out a cloud of smoke. "Listen to your pet, Cleric." "What was that? Did you say something, Raz?" Killing intent. Pure rage is building in your companion. He only scoffs at Snail's question. I feel like there's some tension here. Both of them just quietly glare at each other. "What do you know about the tea shop?" "He doesn't know shit." The hooded goblin laughs. "Ha! You need help, huh?" "Figured." "Are you insulting me, goblin?" "Yeah. Now fuck off." Your companion turns to you and mutters, "God, he's such a fucking cunt." "What are you voting in the election?" "None of your fucking business, human." "You have to tell me. I'm the Cleric of Norvik." He blows out a big cloud of foul-smelling smoke. Some kind of Vulgani bush in his pipe. Awful. "Nah." "Glass him." This is some very vague intent, even by your standards. You grab a half-filled glass from the table as the goblin watches your movements closely. "That's his drink. What a powerful and manly move." Your companion gives you a careful look. He wonders what the hell you're about to do. Time to decide what glass him means, eh? Guess you can make it mean anything you want. "A toast. For you." "Sure. Great." "Not toasting back. He surely deserves a glassing." "What does that mean?" "Put down my glass." You violently crush the glass into the face of the goblin. "Ugh!" he groans as the glassy shards stick into his rough skin. "What the fuck?" "That's what it means." The hooded goblin sits there, glaring at you for a second, blood seeping out of his face, silently staring. He barely even reacts to having glass shoved into his face. This is horrifying. Both your horrible action and his reaction. That's incredible. What a monster. You okay? "This was a mistake." The goblin reaches to his side. He doesn't take a weapon, he instead opens a pouch. Grabs some leaves inside, crushes them in his hands, all while his bleeding eyes remain fixated on you, and then snorts the powder up his nose. You cannot see, but this must be some type of primal magic. Not a potion, a spell. Within seconds, the glass shards begin to pop out of his face, trickling to the ground. The bleeding stops, any running blood evaporating from his face. He dusts off the final shards of glass from his cloak. He picks up his pipe from the ground, taking a big drag. Jeez, the fact he's just sitting there and not killing you outright is interesting. Geese. A common slang shortened from geezus, often used to exclaim a sense of shock and or annoyance. Geezus, a titan who roamed Ascani during the Fade era, famous for his visual similarity to a goose, only a lot bigger. Some ancient monuments found in modern-day Vizca seem to indicate that this titan died for the sins of all minor geese. This goblin, for some reason, is unable to harm you. The coast is made of tree folk. There are folk who wield force, the kind to break kneecaps and spirits. Then there are survivors, the folk who take beatings and pain and make it through every day despite living as prey. He leans back in the seat, blowing smoke in the air. You are the third kind of folk, human. The dead. Sounds like I should be the first kind. Lets out a smoky scoff. Human. Trust me. You are the folk type meant for slaughter. Those who get trampled upon the strings. The dramatic goblin is wrong. You are surely the first type. Right. Extremely dramatic, both of you. He gives the hooded goblin a quick bow. But thank you for not killing the cleric, Ras. Then gives you a thumbs up. And thank you for doing that, cleric. Best thing I've seen all year. Fuck you, you cron piece of shit. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Not so much. A crazed kleptomaniac of a goblin. He needs help. Professional help. Be careful with him. This is not a typical example of a goblin. This is an extreme, a stereotype, a fable. It's on a level where you seriously consider whether this foolish goblin is possessed by some spirit, some divine spark of a trickster god, but the kind of god that would trick his avatar into becoming the useless thief you could possibly imagine. Stranger things have happened. The goblin glances at you. His eyes lit up for a second, but then he notices Snell. Smarter. Snell. Don't cause any trouble. Okay. Snell motions for you both to leave the guy alone. One of your cousins? Something like that. As the two of you take a step away, Snell sighed. Smarter is a notorious pickpocket. Don't let him get too close.
What kind of goblin is it?
You should learn from Smarter. Cool. He's a rogue, like me. Snell shakes his head. No, look. I'm talking a real actual pathological kleptomania case. Like a can't keep his hands away from pockets type deal. So I mean, I guess he's like you. Except Smarter, he fails every single time, hurting himself in the process too. Oh. Yeah. I don't think he's ever gotten away with anything, so just be careful around him. I don't want him hurting himself again. Okay, let's not stick around then. Another goblin. This one is looking to escape. She works hard, but only in ways that improve her craft, her passion. She does not care for politics or the world at large, yet she tries to uphold a sense of understanding in order to further her art. The goblin plays for herself. She seeks not glory, only to support herself with her craft. Seems to not have gone too well so far. The goblin seems to be playing around with the strings of her instrument. She's tuning it. Hey! Her entire body jolts when she sees you. She's frightened by the earth god cowers. I'm playing in a second, okay? Can I request a song? No. Go away, she mutters under her breath. I need some tense ambience for all the conversation I'm going to have here tonight. She scoffs. What every artist wants to hear. Be ambient. Every hero needs a bard. She cannot see your wink. Come on. But she can hear the over-enthusiastic wink sound effect you make with your mouth. She finishes whatever she was doing to her instrument. Alright, let's hear this shit. This isn't really a dancing tavern, otherwise you'd go wild. Okay, here we go. A donation plate. There's a small plate with a fair bit of crowns scattered about the surface. The goblin glances at you as you approach the donation bowl, but she keeps playing. I want to donate crowns here. You do. How much though? Don't go overboard. She's an artist. They're rich. Highly unlikely.
Alms are important to help those in need. It is honorable to give.
You open your pouch and pour a hefty amount of crowns into the bowl. You manage to almost fill it.
Truly, a man who provides.
She almost drops her concentration over the song. She then replaces some of the lyrics with, thank you, Cleric. Damn, that's like half of my month's rent. You're aware you can't really, take that back, are you? You can take anything back, Snail, if you try hard enough. He nods. Yeah, I'm not sticking around for that one. It will be something akin to 1,000 a month. Standard fare, really. Obviously, all my proprietary deals would have to be included in that. Obviously. Which would make it more akin to dower price at least. The orc woman places her cup on the counter and leans forward. We'll hope you'll consider it. The fiendish woman behind the counter gives her a wide, sharp grin. Vera turns to leave and almost walks right into you. Whoops! Cleric. Lovely to see you again, but I can't stop to chat. Do swing by Water Lane later, will you? As the orc steps past you and leaves the tavern, you look over to the woman behind the bar. She locks eyes with you while putting away the orc's cup. Money, money, money. This is what you get when the pragmatism of devilhood mixes with the dexterity of humanish fingers. A mint-making, crown-conscious capital creator of the highest class. Entrepreneurship is about disruption. It's about seeing through the common clay and figuring out the hacks of reality. It's like magic, really. Except it works on scale. This woman has found several holes in the city's purse. Over the years, she's run factories, founded startups, dealt with city corporations, guild deals, and now she's a tavern proprietor. Highly accomplished woman, the type to flourish in the free strider future. Her backstory aside, this tiefling finds meaning in the crowns, in capital. The power and respect she finds in this new world is everything she did not have as a child. Here, she's the boss, in full control, until she isn't. Behind the counter stands a woman of fiendish origin. Focused on filling up one of the taps, she immediately stops when she notices your approach. A tiefling. Welcome to the Drunken Sphinx. Well, my good lord, a cleric. How lovely to see the city stop by. She gives you her full attention. Name's Rixbiter. I'll be serving you tonight. This woman is a perfect hub of information. Pick her brain. I want to pick your brain. That could be arranged, she says and gives you a big smile. I'll pick it real good. Neat. She keeps up the smile. How did that happen? Oh, she mouths and gives her left horn a pat. Funny story, actually. My family fled the last mega storm of High Z. I think it was in the last few years of the Coast War. They were invited to join a Vorgane guild, due to my father's influence as a former diplomat. Mega storm. Like a storm but mega. Don't happen too often. That's where I was born, so technically I'm a native Forgani. But to answer your question, both my parents were members of the House of Fire, low ranking of course, but still influential in the politics of several smaller coastal towns in the western jungles. House of Fire, the aristocracy ruling over the several cities in High Z. They are famous for being elves, humans, or even celestials who intermingle with the demonic forces of the region. And I don't know if you know much about the folk in High Z, but let's just say horns are quite common sight among the highborn. She talks too much. Thank you for the information. No problem. Quite proud of the journey I've made with or without my bloodline backing me. I'm the Cleric of Norvik. The Cleric? Oh my. Aren't you a catch? You're the tavern owner? Do you have a bunch of information that could help me in my quests? Sure. If there's anything I can do for you, just ask. I know more than most in this sprawling city of ours.
This city is not hers.
We all share this place. It is as much hers as it's yours. Oh, Snail! She exclaimed as she noticed him over the counter. Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? Want something to drink? Huh? I'm on the clock, he nudged towards you. Oh, you're the escort, eh? That's not how I'd phrase it, but sure. She laughs and sticks a sharp finger in your face. Don't get Snow into too much trouble, you hear? He's already grumpy enough as is. Two of them clearly share a past, in an enemies to lovers kind of way, only without the lovers part. What's up with the, And that's Osis, great gal. She's a Gyno-Sphinx. She's been here since like early Gate era. Gyno-Sphinx, a monstrous being often found undertaking missions for the gods, a feminine force capable of seeing through time and space, collector of ancient lore and dispenser of riddles, known to test mortals to uncover their true worth. But good luck getting more than that out of her. She always drinks this much? Yeah, that's the only reason this place stays open. She lets us all hang around her secret chamber, and in return I get her pumped on some river wine. Cost-wise, it's not that much worse than the regular city rent. Thanks for telling me about the Sphinx. No problem, she says with a wide grin. You two friends, Snail? No. Don't say that, you're hurting my feelings. There's tension here. If you want to rise out of him, ask about it. I sense sexual tension between you two. That's... Snow quickly snaps at you with a glare. That's a statement I would strongly refute, Cleric. The fiendish woman nods. Of course, refuted it is. It is. For sure, absolutely. She laughs and leans in over the counter. All jokes aside, this is all just a part of the job, you know. Flirting? Well, sure. Bullying? I wouldn't call it that, more like playful teasing. Creating sexual tension? A bit on the nose, but sure. Harassing goblins? No, that's more of a hobby. Being a little fiend? That's just in my blood. Being sarcastic? Always. Talking too much? No. She gives you a stern frown. Goblin raises an eyebrow. She bursts out laughing. Actually, yes. Being a pain in the ass? Every day. Answering all my questions? Every single one. I see. It just happens to be such that Snail here is a very hard nut to crack. The hardest. The goblin closes his eyes and mutters something to himself. A series of expletives. Your companion doesn't seem to enjoy the horned woman's attention. You do not feel any nervousness speaking to this woman. Well, duh. She's not your type. That's pretty obvious. Does Snail spend a lot of time in here? You don't need to ask her, it's not relevant. He does, she says, ignoring his comment. Although this is the most convenient third place for the HWBT, so it's not like he's got too many options. Third place? Place for community and socializing that is not the home or work. We've got all the wonderful goblin we could need here every night. I don't think Snow finds you very attractive. Oh, really? I hadn't noticed. Although I do wonder what his type is. Probably something weird, like lizard folk.
Who wouldn't? Powerful, scaly ladies cannot be beat. In fact, they should be respected, worshipped.
Really? She says with an exaggerated expression. What a juicy rumor. Don't fucking talk about me like I'm not here. And Cleric, don't play into her mind games. She'll drain the wholesomeness out of your damn soul. Ooh, I like that. Drain the wholesomeness. I should put that on a poster. But what about you, Cleric? Do you find me attractive?
No.
Really not your type. Would be fun, but no. You do not feel even an ounce of fear or trepidation before this woman. She's not sexually compatible with you. Imagine partnering with such a blabbermouth. It would be your own personal hell. She's nice, a good woman, but no, you do not feel that way about her. Don't be mean about it. Okay, I could potentially. She pumps her fist in the air. Yes, score! She laughs and says, I haven't seen such enthusiasm from a man since I dated a devil cultist. Boy, was he disappointed when he found out I'm 5/4 demon. She's claiming to be 125% demon. That was a joke. Probably. Great. I've got some other questions. Of course. What do you know about the tea shop? It blew up. She looks shocked. People keep saying that. Right? Very strange. She gives you a quick shrug. Wasn't here. Not usually on toast at over noontime. I'm more of a night gal, obviously. So I'm not much help, sadly. I've just heard the regular. But I can recommend talking to the kid at the kiosk upstairs. His brother comes in here often and I overhear him talking about it. Yes, I spoke with Arn. Great. Hope you didn't scare him too much. Kidding. Tell me about the owner of the tea shop. Drummer? He's a real piece of work. I'm impressed that he kept the tea shop afloat for so long, but look, just know the rumors, okay? I love rumors. He leans in with a smirk. Same. Drummer kept the tea shop full of Asgilists, mostly young ones, but supposedly he'd been working with the Freestriders on the side, like some kind of spy, she laughs. Could you imagine? Does he come here often? Nah. Well, yeah. Is that a maybe? Look, I see him around. He's not a regular, but when he does show up, he's loud and wants to perform. You know. She gestures drumming on the counter. Not the greatest patron. Do you think he blew up the tea shop himself? No. Shakes her head and repeats her answer. And no, that bird couldn't make a ballsy move like that. Now run away from it? For sure, that's what I expect. And indirectly, I'd be surprised if he's not at least a little to blame. Where do you think he's at? Well, I do remember him mentioning something of an escape plan one time. Really? That sounds very relevant. The bird was drunk, okay? Muttered something about covering every liability. Now his escape plan was... Look, thought it was a bad job. But he said from what I can recall that his plan was to sneak into a crate and ship himself to Reed's. Idiotic. You'd have to survive for weeks in a tiny cramped space. Some bird folk can survive for months without sustenance. If he had friends on board, they could just let him out after they passed the immigration control. That's ridiculous. That wouldn't work, would it? I mean, I'm sure it happened at some point, historically. She shrugs. Drunken ramblings, but if I were you, I'd check Water Lane. That's it for now. Sure. Do you know a man called Frank, son of Frank? Question causes her to let out a hearty laugh. I'm so happy I'm not the one having to ask that stupid fucking question. No, I'm afraid I haven't, she eventually manages to tell you. Sorry, Cleric. She cannot help you. She probably gets 100 of people using that fake name during any given week. I'm searching for a paladin. She shakes her head. Don't expect to find much. I haven't seen Lord Gorm for weeks. You know him? I've handed him drinks a few times, exchanged a few words, so sure, I know him. What does he look like? Big guy, Earthgut-like outfit, but with more gold. Not the type you'd like to arm wrestle. Other than that, green eyes, blonde, long hair. A fancy nobleman in armor, got it. Did he wear a helmet? Oh, no, never actually. He always showed off those golden locks.
A clear sign of corruption? What sort of man would choose to show skin instead of iron?
Guess his proclivity for vanity very much surpassed your own, Cleric, he says with a playful smile. You ever hear him say anything suspicious? She laughs. Look, drunkards say all kinds of shit. Can't read too much into it. Well, what did you hear? Mostly a bunch of ranting about how every single political entity in the city should be burned to the ground. Some typical pro-human slogans. You know the stuff. So Lord Gorm is a fascist. Got it. She laughs. Might be simplifying the issue a bit, but sure. You know where I could find him? I hear all kinds of rumors, Cleric. Either he's cracked under the pressure and started living as a fisherman, or beggar on Water Lane, or he's died in the tunnels below, fighting undead abominations, or he's jumped on a ship to Muletown. Maybe Lord Gorm wants to head out into the infinite wastes through Toes Pass. Either way, I don't think you're going to find him, Cleric. But maybe there's some clues as to his fate somewhere here on Toastad. Who knows? Thank you for the information. You're welcome. What are you voting in the election? That's a cheeky question. Don't worry, I will not repress your political opinions. Promise? I swear, Lady Ridgebiter. She's taken aback by your exclamation. Don't just start screaming like that, for fuck's sake. She clearly loves to talk about her own thoughts and opinions for days, so you've made this woman very happy. Early on, I thought about voting for the agricultural party. They had a big focus on small business owners. That's me! But obviously they moved over to a bigger worker class focus and are now completely swallowed by Asgalism. So now I'm leaning towards the free striders. They want to build up the economy and increase trade, which will directly make my life so much easier. Plus, it's hard to ever vote for the nationalists when they want my kind to be a second-class citizen. And the free striders will let you buy your way to first class, or what? She gives him a half smirk. Something like that. You like the agricultural party? Liked. They have a neat manifesto, okay? Freedom of movement in business type shit. Why not vote green? She holds up a hand and gives you an incredulous look. I like to keep my profits, duh. The companion scoffs. You're a free strider then. Hey, just because I'll vote for them doesn't mean I'm dedicated for life. They happen to be the most useful for my business, nothing else. Why would more trade make your life easier? She looks around. Toastad is a radiant hotbed for travelers coming in from all around the coast. If the tariffs are lowered, especially between Redzanian cities, we'll be seeing twice as much traffic on Water Lane. That means twice as many patrons. I might even have to expand. Fuck fascism. She enthusiastically meets your hand in a satisfying smack. Hot shit. Hell yeah.
A foolish performative act.
Oh, stop that. Fascism is objectively bad and screaming at the top of your lungs is a good thing.
Fascism? An ideology born during the Coast War. Formed out of Alexander's dream of a long-lasting empire born out of the fallen theocracies of rage.
Alexandro, Scholar of the Folk, a collection of essays on the topic of populism, famously suggested the new era to be named the Era of Crowds, attempting to modernize Redzanian theocracies.
Alexandro, someone your patriarch quotes a lot. His ideas modernized theocracy in reeds, reviving them towards the end of the arcane era. You do not mean fuck fascism when you say it. You mean fuck the city. Your city. We got problems if you think that, which you do, so... That's all the politics for now.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself.
Please do dive in, Cleric. Anything in particular you'd like me to rant about?
Tell me about your business.
My favorite topic. I've got several businesses, in fact. Some people call me a bit of a serial entrepreneur.
So it's just a tavern, not an inn?
Not an inn, sadly. I've been thinking of expanding, but as you might imagine, it's quite difficult. Especially with all the wonderful complexities created by our dear home lord. If only the city held another city below crusade, then I might be able to dig out a few rooms. But for now, this is just a tavern. Though usually a local cat holds dance classes here once a week. That's paused during the election though. Anyhow, I'm rambling. Did you want the story about how I procured this location?
Tell me about everything.
Every detail. We'll be here all day.
Oh god.
But I can do a quick rundown if you want.
Sure, I
started off in printing, believe it or not. So many years ago at this point. There was a great boom in the industry right when my horns were budding. Did you know we had over 12 papers in circulation at its peak? Crazy! I ended up with way more capital than I anticipated, which gave me the opportunity to invest quite heavily. And you know me, says and winks.
You do not.
This woman is overly familiar for a living. Admirable. Took on a big risk for a big reward. A little bit of agriculture, a little bit of politics. Signed some deals with the free striders, some with the agriculturists, or whatever they call themselves these days. My main business today is actually textile manufacturing. Started a mill 2 years ago with the most inspirational woman you've ever met. Suffragists, widows, immigrants, or Norwegian alike. An activist group formed by driven women in the early days of the suffrage movement. When human women began joining the group, they eventually won over the palace, and universal suffrage was ordered. We're building a new world of feminine industry. She's giving a chance to those who often cannot make their own wage. Wonderful.
She's exploiting women who have been left behind by their communities. Awful.
She must be making a shit ton of coin. Good for her. This tavern was born out of my meeting with Osis. She nods her head in the direction of the massive Sphinx at the end of the chamber. She's guarded this place for centuries? Millennia? Gods only know how long. Even our good Lord Earth just let her be.
Our Lord saw this divine being and allowed her to continue her sacred mission.
But I managed to get her to open up a bit. A few drinks later, and we got a contract signed. Convince the Sphinx, a creature sent by the very high gods, to alter her life's mission. This woman must be highly persuasive. Today it's a highly successful establishment with patrons from all around the world. Things are a bit slow these days with the whole tea shop drama, but alas, things will pick up soon again, I'm sure.
This fiend loves the sound of her own voice.
Could be very useful.
You devil or demon, fiend?
Neither, you know. Suppose the city classifies me as a fiendish guest citizen, or whatever the legal definition is. That means she can vote, but she can't hold office. But my blood origin is demon, like all the House of Fire. She does not like talking about this too much, which is why she stops herself from ranting any more than she already has. She winks and says, try not to flaunt it too much. It tends to get the boys a bit too excited, you know. They clearly crave the abusi. Don't say that out loud. Abusi. What?
You heard me.
She cracks a devilish, demonic smile. You know, I have heard that term before. It's one of those things the youngsters throw around, right? It's a bit cringe, isn't it? Your legs falter. It's such a blow. You probably shouldn't say that out loud. If you won't listen to your senses, then at least listen to the bartender. How did you end up here? Long story. Oh gods. I'll keep it short, as I'm sure you've got better things to do. Essentially, family from Hazy was born in Vorgini, raised in Reeds during the worst of the revolution. Left my family behind and came here to start anew. I'm building business left and right. Ascan is a wonderful land full of promise. I love it here. She leans in and smirks. Thank you so much for taking in an outcast like myself, Cleric.
She's hitting on you. Hit back.
I punch her?
No.
That's not... No.
Not really the moment for that. She's not hostile.
I flirt back?
Yes.
Nope. Not your type. You need someone stronger.
Boo.
The red one is correct, but still boring. Oh, what is my type?
It's hard to put into words, but whatever you're looking for, this horned woman does not have it. The overwhelming urge to be smothered, completely and utterly crushed.
Whatever, just say something. You've been staring at her silently for like 15 seconds now. I do not answer for the visa and immigration guild. Yeah, I know. I meant on a, cultural basis. I always felt very welcome in Norvik. What's your mother's maiden name? Am I allowed to say that? Isn't that a curse thing? Like, knowing the true name of a devil or something? No, it's the name of your mother-in-law you should keep secret. Really? No idea, I mostly just make shit up. Alright, well, let's just move on and I'll keep that secret, just in case, okay? She winks at you. You're unaffected by the wink. How do I get to the Undercoast? I don't know. She points downwards. Head down until gravity flips? Never been myself. Alright, no more personal questions. Ah, too bad. That's all for now. Thank you, citizen. An old well. You approach the old well. It's dry. And very, very deep. You see only darkness. Is this a wishing well? No. I wish I was the greatest knight in all of Ascany. Nothing happens. Won't you look at that? That must mean you're already the greatest knight, right?
Truth. The goblin speaks truth.
He's making fun of you. Thousands of years spent guarding a hole in reality. Remember, her perception is beyond your ability to conceive. For her, a day is a fleeting moment, unless you make it memorable. Guy in a Sphinx giving out riddles, a woman searching for something, anything, even remotely interesting about these scurrying mortals. Why else allow them into her lair like this? She's not being exploited. Whatever deal she struck with the tavern keeper, this beast of York would break it out at any moment. None of them hold any power over her, yet she cannot leave. Resentment. Anyone sane, with even a sliver of mortal understanding, would feel resentment after being stuck in one spot for millennia. Moses, this oh so powerful creature, feels a hint of resentment towards her masters. Perhaps that is why she entertains this fleeting moment. A low fouls out the ambient cheer, just a beat of uncertainty as this cleric steps before the tavern's singular attraction. This happens all the time. Visitors come to gawk and stare, some brave ones to speak with her. The lady of the house, our most delightful host. Towering, you stare at this somewhat feline creature up on the stage, a living myth, currently taking a swig out of a barrel, clearly not paying you any mind.
Antisapalian.
The scent of cheap wine lingers in the air, along with an esoteric sensation. A guy in a Sphinx is not to be trifled with. Her physical characteristics are enough to crush everything that is you. However, she will not have to raise a paw, for her magical prowess could exile you from your realm in an instant. Tread carefully. She must have been here for millennia. Must be boring. Tavern makes sense. Good. Treat her like a cat. Let her speak first. Sphinx looks down at you. Meeting her glowing blue gaze makes you feel like you're falling far, far below the world. There are errors of wisdom behind those eyes. Her expression turns dark. She scrunches that pretty face of hers. Dark tidings bring you to the heart. She speaks low and low. You see a hint of chaos in her movements, unfocused. You'd expect her to act a bit drunker considering the empty barrels to her side. Then again, who knows how well a Sphinx holds her liquor. A helmed dog, dragging its leash around the vestiges of yore. She extends a claw, tickles your arm, and pokes you in the stomach. Woof. That's ridiculous. Dogs don't wear helmets. She lets out a deep breath. It smells like an old basement full of booze. Nor do free men. What? That does not make any sense. She's drunk. Could be a riddle.
She is implying that helm turns you into a slave.
She's wrong, obviously. If you want her attention, you must do something remarkable. She takes another sip from her barrel, not looking at you. Watch yourself, Cleric, he whispers to you. Oh, this isn't one for idle chit-chat. You know this Sphinx? He shakes his head. Every night there's a drunk jackass that asks for a riddle. She usually doesn't hurt them. Oh, a riddle. That'll be fun. Thank you, Snail. Did you not hear me? Hello? I wish to prove myself worthy, great Sphinx. Worthy, little one? Worthy how? Don't you give out riddles? Certainly. Are you ready? Rhetorical. Yes, please. I love riddles. She finishes the last bit out of her barrel and puts it down with a slam. Then the Sphinx leans in, hissing. Once I had the sun's favor, my creed clink close the wall. Matured in shadows, having its empires rise and fall. Once left in silence, now the life with a ball. She raises her paw and gestures to the open chamber. Yet I remain in a draft of remembrance. A history straw. What am I? Easy. The answer is wine. Specifically, grape wine. Clinging to trellises eliminates many other fruits, and grape wine has been made for generations. So, given that this is an entry-level riddle, imagine simply wine will suffice. A love poem about a life's journey, how time changes all, even the simplest grape.
A warlord who cannot learn from his mistakes, probably a drunkard.
Your companion smirks and gives a little chuckle. He knows. What do you think, Snail? The Sphinx turns to Snail with a frown. This seems like a personal riddle for you, not me. So I'm just gonna watch, alright? She nods. How many guesses do I get? Hopefully none, but you're all allotted one answer. What do I get if I get it right? The Sphinx shrugs, then gives you a cold smile. Satisfaction. Is this a trick question sort of deal? No, just a normal riddle. Can I think about it for a bit? No. Answer now or never. What happens if I get it wrong? She squints at you and raises her chin, same as all those who wander these halls. You will lose everything, eventually. There's no threat here. She means your only pain upon failure will be existence itself, a mortal life. Your mind settles on a singular possibility for the simple riddle. Matured in shadows. No doubt in your mind the answer is, obviously, it's wine. Obviously. Once in the sun, matured in shadows. Been around for a long time, life of the ball, a drop. It's clearly, obviously even, wine. Good. Now tell the Sphinx. The answer is wine. Wine? Gives you an intense stare. She started going to eat you.
Time for a fight? She's strong, but you defeat her handily with the power of a hero.
Fool! There's no fighting a gyre Sphinx in her lair. If she wants you gone, then you'll find yourself 1,000 feet below the surface of Lake Kuja. Lake Kuja, a saltwater lake found in the jungles of High Sea, connected with a similar lake found in the Intercoast. Many argue it should be considered one body of water, the only of its kind to pass the gravity flips beyond your sea itself. Yeah, wine. Moses picks up a new barrel of wine. She pops the cork open. Wine. Yes, that is very correct, little one. Wonderful job. Another riddle solved.
Huzzah!
Don't. Since you're so amazing, would you be interested in a quest?
Yes.
She gives you a serious expression. Accepting a divine quest from a Sphinx is no trifling matter, mortal. In fact, few would survive such an ordeal.
This is a chance to prove yourself to an ancient creature of myth and legend.
You also look incredibly manly doing it. A quest? Indeed. Behind me stands a vault. It opens only to those worthy. She leans her massive head downwards, close enough for you to smell the wine breath. To prove worthy, you must solve my most ancient of riddles. So it was handed to me when I first stepped inside this chamber millennia past. I am pretty great at questing. I'm sure you are, little one. Your companion whispers to you. You're going on an epic Sphinx quest now? Sure, why not? Not like we're on a job or anything. Oh, things are connected by their strings. This is important now. Maybe to you. No, really, it's very important to the job too. Convince me. It could grant me esoteric knowledge, or like the tea shop. He sighs. Fair enough. Look, I won't stand in the way. Just don't waste too much time on it, okay? The Sphinx stares at your companion. A hero must face much adversity during his quest. She laughs quietly to herself and takes a swig of wine. So, what exactly is this Sphinx quest? This is a riddle, the answer of which is not uttered in words, but revealed by action.
Muscle riddle, action riddle.
By esoteric might. She goes quiet and closes her eyes. In action. So I can't just... She opens one eye and shushes you. Found within the arcane flare, twin tongues of flame that scorch the air. She takes a breath, revealing a wicked grin. Burrowed deep within the earth. A primal string to show your worth. Then she leans in, almost whispering those final words. Folk and gods enthroning herds. A man divine, alone, howl his words. This is intensely vague and cryptic. Oh, I get it. You do? Symbolic clash of all three categories of spells. Could be relating to the Gate era. Ah, of course. The answer is not a word, not a thing to speak, but rather... Oh, I see. This riddle does not have a verbal answer. Ah, yes. Aren't you smart? The answer is not something you can speak. She uses a massive cloud to grab something on a pile of stuff, tosses it to you. Once you understand this riddle, return here. You can only solve it during daytime, alone. We wouldn't want anyone else accidentally figuring out this riddle, would we? She glances at your goblin companion. The goblin groans. I'm not interrupting the job for that. Do it in the morning or something, before you pick me up. Sphinx chuckles. Never sleep, so you can show up anytime after sunrise and before the tavern opens. What have you gotten yourself into? Sounds like this could lead to one hell of a treasure.
A great quest. Time to prove yourself as a worthy hero.
Isn't it lonely? You hang around here for millennia. She takes a deep breath. I must remember that my perspective on time is different from a mortal's. When one views events on a scale measured in eras, a chat like this is but a fleeting blink among a heaven of stars. She speaks from a pool of knowledge deeper than your entire potential existence. So everything is going really fast for you? Sphinx takes a moment. When a child grows, a house once thought massive will soon start to feel cramped. As time grinds on, the idea of today is no longer a canyon of possibilities. For me, that house is minuscule. What about this then? The Sphinx follows your movements with a stale expression. Your impressive movements. You keep it up for almost a full minute before you feel your legs grow sluggish. Your companion stares at you with an open mouth. How's the size of the house now? The Sphinx has an inscrutable expression on her face, watching you pant like a dog. Those were some spectacular jumps, little one. She's being patient with you, but also somewhat entertained? Or is she just being sarcastic? But please, calm down.
Jealous?
Tilts her head to the side. A moment of contemplation. Fascinating. Mortality makes life beautiful. I've heard that countless times. Yet it always comes from those trapped in its clutches. I suppose perspective is everything. Hanging around a tavern can't be too lonely, right? Times have indeed changed. During what you call the Arcane Era, I had few visitors. These days, I'm inclined to enjoy the life surrounding me, even with its occasional annoyances. Though the average quality of my conversations might have declined, there is value in communicating with all manners of creatures. Knowledge comes in all shapes. If the world is full of imbeciles, then knowing imbeciles will let you know the world. And if that is the case, then how many of those people truly can be called stupid? But I'm not an imbecile, right? She stares at you for a long while. Of course not, little one. Phew! That could have hurt. She stares out to everyone. So, there's no dude Sphinx in your life then? Her expression changes subtly. Touch upon a sensitive subject. I have found that when this question is put to me, despite my vast age, despite my demeanor, despite everything, the inquirer is not referring to companionship. She taps a claw. You wish to speak of reproduction, little one? Cleric, you hear a harsh whisper. Are you sure about this? Is it an awkward subject? Yes. Most mortals finds this discussion to lead into very uncomfortable territory. Are you uncomfortable talking about it? Not at all. I can rant about it all day. Yes, I would like to hear about Sphinx reproduction. Her intense glare grows more esoteric. It's time. Oh, she is into it. There are many lower races of Sphinx, some more bestial than others. Apart from often serving lesser purposes, they also share a common characteristic. She frowns. That was the Sphinx equivalent of spitting on the ground. They're all male. Wow, man Sphinxes literally ain't shit? No, that is not precisely true. She stated that those who ain't shit are exclusively men. How dreadful. Indeed. Each of these degenerate Sphinxes then naturally craves the companionship of my kind. Gyno Sphinxes are the only female members of the Sphinx family. They control the means of reproduction in their species. For a Gyno Sphinx to lower herself to their level, it is simply unthinkable. Then how? These bestial Sphinxes should really work on themselves. She gives you a quick laugh. She thinks you're funny. Keep it up! These creatures will never reach such heights. It's not in their nature. The degenerate races of Sphinx were born wicked and craven. These creatures are no more similar to I than a horse to a donkey. No, not even this, as it implies some level of closeness. A horse got to a painting of a donkey. Nice. This misconception of our similarity will plague me for eternity. But considering them a legitimate partner, creating more? Sphinx shakes her head. A true man is his mind. He's not violent by nature, nor is he afraid of action. He's decisive, yet tolerant. He's wise, yet still ready to learn. A true man is a riddle. He cannot be redeemed? Not as long as they live. However, there is a more civilized Sphinx, apart from my own kind, of course. glow in her eyes intensifies. She enjoys thinking of this manly creature, the Sphinx, a beautiful, powerful servant of the gods. Few inhabit this coast of ours, yet those that do, her voice trails on. A bitter taste spreads. There's more than history here. There are lifetimes. Are idiots? She snaps her gaze back to you. They are, like all men, insufferably prideful. I'm sensing a story here. There's always a story. Every BS is brought from perspectives after all. She takes a sip from her barrel and leans her head on a paw. Hear my tale. During the early days when the gates stood open, one winter long ago, I was tasked to guard a passage on the border of an empire you will never know. That empire's goddess sent an Sphinx to guard the very same passage. His name was Trembling. The meeting was by chance and by fate. Sounds romantic. An optimistic viewpoint, but I'll admit that at first I shared those aspirations. Trem was a gallant specimen. He spoke with an air of grandeur and purpose. It was easy to spend hours in his company, days, then months. Though we became increasingly physical in our relations, our conversations steadily became more stale. After years of sharing a lair, I sensed a bitter tone gnawing its way into every interaction between us. He would berate my every action, would go on month-long hunting trips, and then come back empty-handed. He would end every philosophical discussion or debate, even those we had with visitors, with snarky comments. Tell me, with whom do you believe this venom originated? Which one of us would be at fault, so to say? Maybe you two just weren't compatible. An understatement. I pushed for him to tell me where this irritable act of his came from. After many long arguments, he relented. Guess. Guess what Trem confessed to be the cause of his toxic behavior. It's not a sex thing, is it? She smirks. That was never an issue. Don't picture it.
Sphinxes must be highly virile creatures.
Good to know. She takes a big gulp from her wine barrel. He said I was arrogant, that I could never be wrong, that I was stubborn. Ah, well, don't say that out loud. Those words are tinged with bitterness and contempt. This Sphinx had a deeper, more venomous meaning behind his teeth. There's a hidden meaning behind his words. She raises an eyebrow. You surprise me, little one. It took time for me to truly understand why he would say such a thing. Eventually, I figured it out. Trem was intimidated by me. For the half-century we spent together, he never once could keep up in our debates. He never could solve my best riddles, nor even understand many of the most basic of philosophical topics I brought up. I never had a problem with this at all. It was endearing to watch him struggle. I never would have assumed such a magnificent man would succumb to the lowest of sins. Pride. Pride in oneself is necessary if one is to accomplish great deeds. She's small-minded, like most of her kind. Trem could not stand to be outmatched, at least not in the long run, so we parted ways as amicably as could be given the circumstances. That was my first mission here on this yours realm. This Sphinx has struggled with her hatred for longer than you will ever live. And despite the difference in your natures, what she seeks here from you is simply validation. A true man seeks greatness in his partner. He does not fear it. She nods. When I told him the same thing, he did not respond positively. The Sphinx gives you a faint smile. One thing I truly desire is for my mind to delve inwards. That can be done via intellectual excursions of many kinds, dialogues, debates, sharing experiences. Thank you for listening to my tale, little one. This was a dialogue and more of a monologue, or an appeasement, but hey, whatever floats her boat. She seeks understanding through sharing. By listening, you give her something tiny and fleeting. Wait, this was a debate? Does that mean you won the debate? Is there a prize? Your bias is not wrong. But remember, all folk, men and women alike, Sphinx or human, are both pitiful, spiteful, and wonderful in their own unique way. Well said. It's not often I'm given the chance to be truly surprised by a mortal. And a man, nonetheless.
Of course she is impressed. Who wouldn't be?
Thank you, Guardian of the Vault. Here. This might help you in your quest, little one. Now, any other questions you have for me? Is this tavern your lair, or your lair a tavern? She lifts the barrel to her lips and holds it there for a moment. Eventually she lowers it and says, "That is, indeed, a riddle worth pondering. Can I ask why? Why what? Why a tavern?" I was convinced. She glanced at the pile of wine by her side. It was not a battle quickly won, however. Rigsbiter worked tirelessly for many an evening to argue her point. Eventually, in completing a few quests on my behalf, I let her rent out a part of my lair, but only for a century. Oh, is that all? Do you like the hustle and bustle in here? I'm content, for now. Yes. Has anyone ever tried to fight you? Yes. Alcohol tends to lower risk assessment capabilities amongst mortals, which sometimes ends with violence. Always from a man, strangely enough. I do wonder why.
Not always. You've seen some feisty women during your streetwatch days.
You're a big drinker. I partake. It does little to affect me, but the taste is lovely. I've never seen her sober, so who knows if it is true. Must cost a lot to get you all this wine. No, Rigsbiter procures it all for me. Such lovely river wine. She takes another sip. I've grown to enjoy the taste. Nice to see you enjoying your tavern lair. I've got other questions. The Sphinx drinks again. What do you know about the tea shop? It startled me, which is not an easy thing to do. I had imagined you're quite close to it. Yes, an explosion like that has not been felt in this place for decades at least. Understandable. Yes, it reminded me of our darkness, what you people call the Fade Era. It was a time just before I was tasked with guarding this vault. Then, the Mollusca tooling Cathal often bargained with me for divine knowledge and assistance. I liked those snails. They were good company. I was saddened when their city melted under Esud's fire. The crackling of those flames, the terrible force that ruined everything in its path. Flames of many colors. Memories of beasts in the days of yore. Those thoughts stirred in me when I felt that explosion. Old magic. You've been here since the Fade Era? There were some excursions early on, but yes, a bit over a millennia ago. I feel bad for you. Don't. This is my purpose, just like I'm sure you have yours. Snails? She nods. They built the first city here, from what I know. You walk their streets, little one. Can you tell me more about these folk? A bit, yes. They were masters at wizardry far before the Arcanists, or humans for that matter, even arrived to Yor's coast. They made some poor choices during their rise and fall. They aligned with Yor against the gods for one. And of course they picked the wrong side of the Dragon Wars. It's a tragic tale of a civilization that I truly believe to be good. Good for the coast. They were just a little slow. Caught up to them in the end. Do you think it was dragonfire that caused the explosion? She scoffs. No, I do not. It was much too concentrated of a blast. Besides, a dragon large enough to cause such destruction would also surely not be capable of sneaking away without a single witness. Could someone have used fireball to cause the explosion? The Sphinx shrugs. I've seen more than a fair share of those in my time. Seems like everyone uses it. Third level fireball would not come close to that power. Any other spells then? Destructive spells come in all sizes and shapes, little one. But there's a saying among Arcanists that any spell made to cause damage is just fireball in different clothing. So who knows? But I'm sure you figured it out. Tell me about Esud. Prefer not. His terrible reign is a topic left out of polite conversation. Whenever you see the flaming mounds upon the burnt coast lit up in smoke and cinder, you will know his rule has not gone away. Not for a moment. A flame of many colors. Blue, yellow, and purple. It is said if you can see the purple, it'll be the last thing you do. Either from blinding or merciful death. That's all for now, thank you. You're welcome. What are you voting in the election? I'm not. You're not apolitical, are you? Shakes her head. I cannot leave to vote, I'm afraid. Even if it was in my business to leave an imprint on the affairs of mortals. You can't leave here for even a minute or two? I could, but that would break my divine quest. Understandable. You cannot do that, ever. I would not have expected a mortal to understand. Interesting. If you could leave, what would you vote? Oh, I don't know. She points the cloud at you. What would you have me vote for if you were in my shoes? For me, I will lead us to a glorious future as a wizard god king. Oh, will you? There's a distinct possibility. She gives you a knowing smile. She knows more than you ever learned. That may not be true if you have your way. This Sphinx obviously does not hold any clear political ideal. Okay, good to know. She takes a long sip from her barrel. What's that door behind you? Nothing. But it's clearly something. How perceptive of you, little one. She holds up a paw as if presenting a prize. Behind me lays but one divine vault of many. Of many! A deck of many. She lowers her head slightly in a tiny bow. I am its protector. It's really not more complicated than that. You are a very impressive creature. You know that? She taps her claws. Where are you going with this, little one? Oh boy. Get ready to run. Yeah, this might be a bad idea. A true man climbs the tallest mountain he can find. No lesser challenge, no lesser man. Your goblin companion kicks you in the shin. You wanna get mazed? He hisses at you. That's how you get mazed! Goblin is referring to the concept of being magically transported into an endless prison. Which is technically something a Gyno Sphinx could be capable of, just so you know. There you go. You've got an opening. Time to swoop in with a smooth line. The Sphinx, patient as ever, stares at you. Oh no. Your skill with words puts mine to shame clearly. I can attempt to communicate you how strongly I feel for you, but you must instead settle for knowing the depth of my feeling. I find you to be beautiful, Sphinx, and I would be honored to have you in my life. After finishing your speech, the Sphinx looks at you bug-eyed. Sphinxes do not often become bug-eyed. As does Snail. As does every other patron in the tavern who overheard you. They are all shocked at your word-crafting expertise. No one formulates lines better than you. No one. No one. Nope. No one. But why does she look so shocked? Who knows? And who cares? They may act like they are embarrassed, but they envy you in this moment. They don't have the confidence. Little one. Finally the Sphinx speaks, her tone calm yet shaky. That's a stifled laugh. Shit. That was a wonderful speech. I appreciate you as well. However, as I'm sure you're aware, I cannot leave this chamber. So I will not be able to stay in your life forever. So, unfortunately, I have to pass on your, proclamation. Ah. Okay. Hope that's alright. It can't be. Sorry, little one.
Damn the gods! Damn it all to hell!
You'll find someone else. She leans in and brings her massive paw over to your head. Then she pats the top of your helmet carefully. There. No crying. Well, she says to start sipping on her barrel again. You look like you need a drink. I was saving it for later, but I think you'll be in more need of this pick-me-up. Anything else you wanted? The goblin companion lets out a comically audible "Whew!" I'll be going now. Thank you, great Sphinx. You approach the old well. It's dry and very, very deep. Excuse you? You're doing what exactly? I'm jumping down the well. You say that as if somehow a good idea. Snow grabs you. No! That's a bad Cleric. He wrestles you back away from the deep, deep hole. But Snail, I wanted to jump down. Now, my watch. If you wanna die from rabbit fucking dungeon dissension, do it on your own time, asshole.